Hi everyone, it's Jay here, and these are the manga and manhwa releases for the third part of July, so the 22nd and the 29th of July. There are quite a lot to get through, so we're going to start with the Kodansha releases. Ajin Demi-Human Complete, Volume 4. Under duress, the Ministry of Welfare, which has been abusing demi-humans on behalf of the so-called business community, is ready to negotiate. Yet Samuel T. Owen can't resist giving the screw another turn. And the jolly ex-marine is more than willing, even eager, to take on the hardest of hard targets. Blue Lock Volume 20. Now, even as the dust settles on the match, Ego reveals a shocking twist that will upend the Neo-Egoist League and bring the competition to a fever pitch. Gachiakuta Volume 7. The threat of the Raiders has been ever looming, and now they've made their move. Rudo has been kidnapped, but he wasn't alone, and each cleaner who was also taken must first defeat the raider sent to stop them, if they want to have any hope of reuniting. Meanwhile, the Raiders' boss has a tempting proposal for Rudo. A Condition Called Love Volume 14. It's now Hotaru and Hananoi-kun's second winter together. Hotaru's dad invites Hananoi-kun over for lunch, where he spots a familiar face in an old photograph. Then, with the third school term already off to an eventful start, Yao-kun leaves the bookstore and his replacement hire is a mysterious older boy who catches Hotaru's attention. Eden Zero Volume 32. Mother has presented Shiki with an impossible choice. He can either lose some of his loved ones now, or doom everyone in the universe to die in the future after all the ether withers away. Shiki takes the situation in stride, despite there seeming to be no good option. He makes a choice, but has no intention of letting things play out the way Mother described. Flying Witch Volume 13. Preparations for the Great Sabbath, a worldwide witchy event held once every 20 years, have kicked into full gear. And to Makoto's delight, Aomori is on the list of candidate host cities. She, Akane, and Maria try to amplify its appeal to the judges who have come to tour the city, only to be blindsided by a very sneaky sabotage campaign. It also comes to light that a missed milestone has put Chinatsu in dicey spiritual territory. Now it's up to Makoto to save her soul. Gaitima the Gigantis Volume 2. When Gaitima returns to the town of Tsukuba, it immediately gravitates toward Miyako, making her an object of imprinting. Tatsukuni Matsushima, head of the Kaiju Biological Research Agency Fune, and his team investigate those recent developments, along with Miyako's possible maternal connection to Gaitima. Meanwhile, a new kaiju, Hetoga, threatens to attack the community, and military reinforcements are called in to fight back. How will Gaitima react to human aggression, and can Miyako work with Fune for a peaceful solution? Honeko Akabane's Bodyguards Volume 4. All the students in Class 3-4 of Sosoji High School are Honeko Akabane's bodyguards, and as one of them, Ibuki's job is to find the traitor hiding in the class. Now, Class 3-4 seeks guidance from their former master. At the same time, the first semester final exams are approaching. On top of all that, the traitor devises various schemes to get Ibuki to drop out of his bodyguard duties. A battle of wits breaks out over failing the final exams. Shimazaki in the Land of Peace Volume 5. Former covert operative Shingo Shimazaki encounters a boy called Sata, who himself is undergoing combat training in an LEL branch organization, an arm of the same terrorist group Shimazaki has been hiding from since his return to Japan. Unaware of one another's circumstances, they nevertheless find themselves drawn to each other, but will their deepening connection invite salvation or disaster? The Ayakashi Hunter's Tainted Bride Volume 3. Already knowing Nano's feelings, Yako asks for her to choose him. Once again, the two reaffirm their mutual feelings for each other and strengthen their bond. Sleeping by each other's side, a taste of chocolate, all these first times are fleeting. Unfortunately for Akemi, Reito wants to end his marriage with her as his eyes turn back towards Nano. Vampire Dormitory Volume 14. Lily goes on a rampage with her newly acquired power of charm, attacking and hypnotizing the students of Demi Academy one after another. With the school under her thrall, her next target is the Land of the Vampires, the dominant nation of the demi-human world. Now that even the fearsome progenitor has been turned against our heroes, The only hope for Ruka and the land of the vampires lies in Mito's bloody love. A new series from Yen Press, Almark. In the northern lands where war continues without end, young Almark hopes to be a mercenary like his father one day. Thinking the timid boy ill-suited for such a life, however, his worried father envisions a different future for him, all the way at the Nork Magical Academy in the peaceful south, once he's old enough to attend. And so, despite Almark's efforts on and off the battlefield, he eventually sets out for the academy to respect his father's wishes. But what lies ahead on his journey to becoming a magician? Banished from the Hero's Party Volume 10, Ruti has begun her new life in Zoltan, helping out at the apothecary, spending time with her beloved brother. Her days have never been so peaceful. But Tise, Red and Rit start to notice that something's still not quite right with Ruti. Can they help her find a way forward, or will the path of the hero prove inescapable? Beware the Villainess Volume 4. In this one, there's another trashy male lead who needs to be taught a lesson, Jake Fodderbrat. When Melissa catches her brother stalking Yuri, she swears he'll get what's coming to him at the upcoming hunting tournament. Bocce the Rock Comic Anthology Volume 1. This anthology features a lineup of all-star guest authors ready to take the stage for the ultimate Bocce the Rock tribute concert. With a setlist featuring hits such as What If Bocce Was Totally Ripped, Kesoku Band Tours in Another World, and Hitori Goto vs. The Police, you'll discover new sides to your favourite characters you never even dreamed of. Cheeky Brat Volume 14. She was so excited that her and Naruse were finally going to the same school again, and was so ready for them to work through their problems together because they're adults now. But once a cheeky brat, always a cheeky brat. Meanwhile, Suwa's been acting especially strange. What could be going on in his head? Dark Souls Redemption Volume 2. The Grey Cinders leave Iras to reconcile the consequences of a past unknown. Utterly alone with her ghosts, a hunter burdened by affliction arrives to aid on the harrowing journey ahead. Descended upon by the fallen horde, Ira and the hunter venture into the wastes, seeking the glowing embers of hope, those only found swirling amidst the shadows of their darkest memories. A new series called Dead Mount Deathplay Side Story, Phantom Solitaire's art of disguising oneself as a supernatural being. Catch the manga edition of the novel, following a certain delightfully devious criminal. This autobiography, written by Tena Sorimura, follows his rise to the top as well as how he became known as Phantom Solitaire. Delicious in Dungeon World Guide Adventurer's Bible, Complete Edition. Delve into the depths of Delicious in Dungeon with a smorgasbord of illustrations, secret tales that couldn't be told before, and detailed information about all the characters. Whether it's their age, BMI, or their first time they died, this guide has everything there is to know. Get the scoop on all the various races and dungeons found throughout the world, including an encyclopedia of monsters. A new series called Double the Trouble, Twice as Nice. It was a mistake, a very big mistake. Well, it's not like Yuri Hayama could just abandon an unconscious child in the middle of the street, and since her phone was dead, she ended up bringing him back to her place, which leads to her current dilemma. There's a ridiculously hot guy in her bed. Plus, because he has a mysterious ability to transform from angelically cherubic to sinfully sexy and zero qualms about using it to get whatever he wants, he's already got her twisted around his little finger. Elden Ring, The Road to Erdtree Volume 6. At last, the Radan festival has begun. Challengers get to face the mightiest of all demigods, Starscourge Radan. But why is this collection of champions such a menagerie of misfits? Go 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 Ghost Volume 4. Heartbroken office worker Ushiro and her glamorous guardian spirit Masako have been chasing their philandering foe Yu-senpai, and that's put them on a collision course with his dangerous new girlfriend. With dark truths rising to the surface all around, will our heroine find new comrades in revenge or rivals beyond her ken? I Don't Know Which Is Love Volume 3. Mei may have entered college determined to find herself a girlfriend, but she never expected potential prospects to be throwing themselves at her like this. And if her tender heart being pulled every which direction wasn't enough, she's somehow gotten roped into taking a leading role in an upcoming play. She may not have any acting experience, but that's just fine. The script is mostly kiss scenes with Karen anyway, With time to rehearse running out, can Mei fake it till she makes it? I'm Quitting Heroing Volume 8. How will it all end for Echidna and Leo in this final volume of the series? Read it to find out. In Another World, My Sister Stole My Name Volume 3. In the world of the mirror, Ichika has her hands full with her work as a saint, her gradually developing relationship with Noah, and her awkward distance with her sister, Karen. In the midst of it all, the king announces that Ichika, Karen, Cecil, and Noah are to go on a diplomatic visit to their neighbouring country, Veldeva. Ichika is trying her best to prepare for the trip, studying up on history and magic, when suddenly a beautiful but mysterious girl appears before her. Itaewon Class Volume 6. The moment Seiroi has been waiting for is finally on the horizon. His appointment as a non-executive director of Jangar Group will be the tipping point for his revenge. Except, someone is working behind the scenes to thwart Seiroi, someone who isn't afraid to wield the secrets of Honey Knight's staff as a weapon. And with Genwon being released from prison, will Seiroi be able to survive attacks from friend and foe alike? Lady Devil Volume 2. Giovinetta and Johannes have finally professed their deep-rooted feelings for each other and spend their days basking in each other's company, but their happiness is short-lived. Not only do their brother, Winfred, and Giovinetta's maid, Griselda, quickly catch on to what is happening behind closed doors, but the arrival of Giovinetta's future son-in-law provides a cold, hard reality check that the twins are unable to ignore. Will the voices of dissent be enough to extinguish the flames of their love? Level Up with the Gods Volume 1. After the world as he knew it came crumbling down, ordinary college student turned warrior Yoo-won Kim made his way to the tower in the company of the inner gods. But even with his hard-earned skills and mighty companions, taking on the outer gods was an impossible feat, at least this time. Given a second chance, Yoo-won returns to the beginning, before it all began, with a promise to return and fight again. Armed with the knowledge of a returnee, can he level up once more and find his place amongst the gods? Lil Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right Volume 1. Luna Ishikawa is a dark and mysterious vampire, or so she'd like her new classmates to believe. The truth is, while she may be one of the not-so-mythical bloodsuckers, she doesn't really live up to the hype. She's short, clumsy, and she can't even suck blood properly, so when her classmate Tatsuta discovers her little drinking problem, he can't help but lend a hand. Can he nurse Luna from the small, timid animal she is into a fearsome creature of the night? Loverboy Volume 2. Spending days by Jaeha's side and nights in bed with him, it should be everything Enho dreamed of, but things come crashing to a halt when he realises their relationship is little more than friends with benefits to Jaeha. Still, Jaeha seems more enamoured than he's willing to let on, and Enho can't help but be filled with hope. That is, until Jaeha runs into Haesun, his ex-wife. Lycoris Recoil Official Comic Anthology React. Welcome to Cafe Lyco Reco. From devising new menu items to balancing the books, come inside for a taste of the lives of Chisato, Takina, and company off the clock from Lycoris Duty. Another new series, Monster Tribe. Ten is a high school boy who wants nothing more than an average, peaceful life, which is tough for a half-human from a family full of monsters. After a portal is torn open between the monster world and their own, Ten and his brothers are pressed to hunt down the invaders threatening humanity. With the promise that success means getting a wish granted, but can they safely see their mission through, and will Ten ever achieve the normal days he dreams of? Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun Volume 16. Seo witnessed the impossible. Wakamatsu promised someone a romantic dinner date. Meanwhile, what Sakura saw was just as unacceptable. Nozaki reminiscing about a date from the not-so-distant past. Getting to the bottom of these crimes will take some serious sleuthing, especially since our two misguided maidens are much better at causing chaos than deducing details. Neighbourhood Craftsman Stories from Kanda's Gokura Chao Volume 1. Whether it's household goods or clothing or their very homes, the people of the Kanda neighbourhood in the city of Edo depend on the expertise of local craftsmen. These artisans have years of experience perfecting their craft, but there's always room for them to learn and experiment, developing new techniques that will take their work to even greater heights. Step into the exquisitely illustrated workshops of a cooper, swordsmith, dyer, weaver and plasterer, and witness the traditional techniques on which modern Japan was built. No matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular, volume 25. After Tomoko's movie, it's her little brother Tomoki's turn to take the stage. He's starring as a prince in his class's play for the Culture Fest and attracting the attention of more than a few of the ladies in the process. But during the performance, things go a bit off script, and even the prince himself can't believe what's happening. The audience erupts into rapturous applause, but Tomoki looks a little rattled. Nomi x Shiba Volume 2. After a steamy confession, it's only the beginning for Nomiya and Mikoshiba. Still, now that he has permission to actually touch the guy he's been not so secretly panting after, Nomiya's not sure his heart can take Mikoshiba's killer cuteness. Pandora 7 Volume 5. With the sacred peaks of Grey Rope finally in sight, all that's left for Leah Frontier to do is find a way into the heart of the fortress and at long last open Pandora's box. But achieving peace isn't so easy. Meanwhile, Neodada, the 1,000-year revolutionary army, marches upon Grey Rope to launch their own attack upon Humania. Between 1,000 years of hatred and one girl's wish, is it a future of hope or despair that awaits? Secrets of the Silent Witch Volume 4. When a trading company visits Serendia Academy to deliver materials, Monica goes with Elliot to greet them, but a small mistake in the company emblem tips her off to the fact that these men are up to no good. Her suspicion prompts the intruders to attack. See You in My 19th Life Volume 7. In a desperate attempt to alleviate Seihao's pain and guilt, Ji-eun tells him the truth. The fact that the first and only love of his life is reincarnated as someone else is a hard pill to swallow. And yet the resemblance between Ji-eun's and Ju-won's mannerisms is undeniable. Not to mention Ji-eun knows about the contents of the wooden box, a secret Ju-won took to an early grave. Eager to finally put this chapter of his life behind him, Seihao's more determined than ever to catch the mastermind behind their car accident, no matter the cost. Semantic Error Volume 3. When it comes to Sang-woo, Jae-young's got his work cut out for him. First of all, Sang-woo refuses to entertain the idea of a male partner, despite clearly having the hots for Jae-young. It doesn't help that Sang-woo is a complete newbie when it comes to romance and relationships, and the cherry on top, Jae-young's got an honest-to-goodness rival to fend off. At least he's managed to persuade Sang-woo to keep things purely physical, but with rising libidos and emotions, that may be harder than either of them could have anticipated. Shadow's House Volume 9. Within a peculiar mansion, noble shadows and living dolls reside in pairs. One such duo, Kate and Amiliko, secretly switch the coffee beans under the Starbearers' noses, in an effort to break the brainwashing of the living dolls. However, to survive the mystery and intrigue lurking in every corner, they need all the help they can get, which is why holding another midnight reunion with their peers is essential for the success of their plan to rebel against those in power. SSS Class Revival Hunter Volume 4. Skills, Power, Prestige. Gongja's got things he could only dream of in the previous timeline. None of that, however, comes close to the recognition of the 5 great guild leaders, as well as the tentative trust of the strongest hunter in the tower, all of them people who, despite their constant bickering, clearly care deeply about their fellow hunters and without whom society would crumble. That's why Gongja's determined to ensure their safety by single-handedly paving the way to the 20th floor. After all, what's a few revivals when the future of humanity is at stake? Studio apartment, good lighting, angel included, Volume 7. Shintaro finds himself on an unexpected dinner cruise with Toa. While this is all thanks to his Aunt Mary, who bought tickets but couldn't attend, she asked him to take plenty of photos though, Shintaro can't help but feel it's like a date, and with Toa's white dress fluttering in the evening breeze, the atmosphere becomes romantic. What memories will the two of them make? Suzuki-kun's Mindful Life Volume 4. Looks can be deceiving. After all, one glance at the towering and intimidating Kaoru Suzuki is enough to send people packing and get others riled up for a fight. But the guy's actually a softie inside, as well as a flower lover and an avid baker to boot. When Suzuki gets harassed on the train, a delicate but unexpectedly tough boy swoops in to save the day. This unlikely duo kicks off a friendship that proves that what you see isn't always what you get. The Beginning After the End Volume 8. With Eleanor's birthday coming up, Arthur is on the hunt for the perfect birthday gift for his sister. Little does he know, his efforts will make him privy to a monumental secret. A new continent has been discovered. While this promises danger and excitement, Art can't let himself be distracted from his upcoming enrollment at Xyrus Academy, and his simmering desire for revenge against Lucas. He may have no choice in the matter though, considering he's drawn the attention of the Princess of Sapim. The Boxer Volume 11. The dark basement room was all he knew growing up, eating the same meal, sleeping on the hard floor, and nursing his wounds day after day after day. But when an outsider wanders into the boy's small world, something new trickles into his life: hope. However, hope is a fickle thing, and as it's stripped away, the boy from the basement stares down his final opponent inside a boxing ring. Nothing left to live for except crushing anyone who stands in his way. The Failure at God School Volume 2. Magic powers, high school drama, romance, and intrigue. What more could you ask for? Nagi's an ordinary girl in an ordinary world, except, for the people who have superpowers and can apply to become a god. And somehow this seemingly normal girl has found herself at a school for training would-be gods. Freshmen have to team up for a wilderness survival camp, where supernatural abilities are flying left and right. Nagi, whose powers are still unknown, shows her appreciation for her team the best way an outdoorsy, small-town girl can, by foraging for food. The Holy Grail of Eris Volume 10. Thanks to Deborah's machinations, Abigail is arrested by the Royal Military Police. With the trial close at hand, Abigail's enemies prepare to use shady tactics to take her down, and a fate mirroring Scarlet's 10 years ago looms over the Duchess. But all is not lost. For the women Abigail saved are ready to do whatever it takes to rescue their benefactor. After all, in the hands of the cunning, beauty is its own weapon. The Reformation of the World as overseen by a realist Demon King, Volume 6. Now that Astaroth has already taken down the Demon Kings, with help of course, he sets his sights on the star-shaped Demon King, Decarabia. But even though Astaroth's plan to turn Decarabia's greed against him worked beautifully, the rival Demon King has a trick up his own sleeve. The small animal-like lady is adored by the Ice Prince, Volume 3. Liliana, the fiancée of Prince William, aka the Ice Prince. Although his first impression left much to be desired, she's become rather attached to him. And now that they've finally opened their hearts to one another, all that's left is their happily ever after. It's not like some other girl's going to swoop in and steal his heart, right? Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun, Volume 22. The big clock that governs Kamome Academy's time is destroyed, a sin the clockkeepers won't easily forgive. When Akane is called upon to fulfill his duty, he sheds his identity as Student Council Vice President and steps into the role of the lowliest clockkeeper, the guardian of the present. With all 3 judges in attendance, a trial is to be held in the clockkeeper's boundary. Who is guilty? How shall they be punished? And what must the Guardians of Time do to set things right? Tomb Raider King Volume 11. Ju Hyun's latest adventure proved quite fruitful. Not only did he obtain a bunch of powerful relics, he also left his greatest enemy buried in rubble. Though Chairman Kwon's status remains unknown, his absence results in a gaping power vacuum inside his global conglomerate. And when the chairman's children begin to fight over the Taiki BM Empire, Ju Hyun smells a golden opportunity to sow chaos and make bank. Toge Oni Primal Gods in Ancient Times Volume 6. Flung far and wide by Tsukiyomi's mirror, Zen, Mio, and En have no idea how distant they are from one another, or how much danger they may be in. As Zen steels himself to beseech the renowned Hitokoto Nushi at last, Mio struggles to placate her unpredictable new master, the immortal Sansei. He doesn't seem particularly concerned with his new charge, or anyone else for that matter, which could pose a much greater problem than it may seem. Touring After the Apocalypse Volume 6. Yoko and Airi take a break from travelling to think back on the start of their journey, what led them to leaving the shelter in the first place, and when they continue northeast, they have a blast digging for fossils in Iwaki. Ubel Blatt Deluxe Edition Volume 3. Who will emerge as the true hero of the people? Coinzel engages again with Glen's knights, but their spells have critically weakened him. Just as capture seems imminent, At rejoins the fight. Despite her injuries, At is determined to prove to Coinzel that her devotion can be an asset and not a hindrance in battle, even if it costs her life. Your Former Volume 3. When an investigation takes a dangerous turn, Echika's amicus partner, Harold, gets injured and collapses. Despite her deep-seated animosity towards the humanoid robot, she can't help but be concerned. However, when Echika discovers more about Harold's mysterious past, she uncovers shocking truths that could change everything. Superstring Marco Polo's Travel to the Multiverse Volume 1. When Marco Polo's parents are executed for their involvement in a royal conspiracy, he takes a job as a deckhand to provide for his younger siblings. But one day, a monster attack wrecks his ship, leaving Marco stranded on a mysterious island in Asia. Not long after that, he's granted strange powers by a beastly girl who calls him master. This is just the beginning of a cross-dimensional journey, spanning time and space, and the fate of the world, including Marco's family, hangs in the balance. From Viz Media, Boys Abyss Volume 10. Reiji, Gen, and Chako have escaped to Tokyo, the city of their dreams. Now what? To understand their present and dream of a brighter future, they must first understand their past. Mori tells the story of his teenage relationship with Reiji's mother, a tale of violence, redemption, lost love, regret, and fire. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run Volume 2. Gyro leads the race at the end of the first stage, but it's too soon to celebrate just yet. 3 competitors have turned up dead, and the famous cowboy, Mountain Tim, has just been deputized to find the culprits. Following the trail of horseshoe tracks, he sets his sights on Johnny and Gyro, but as the 3 men collide in the hostile Arizona desert, it quickly becomes clear that the second stage of this race may just be their last. Mama Yu Yu Volume 1. Corleo's the hero of this world, but since his world is at peace, he doesn't quite know what to do with himself. But when terrifying creatures show up, it's time to fight or perish. Luckily, he gets some help from the most unexpected sources when demon lords and heroes from different worlds team up to fight a more powerful evil. Ponyo Film Comic All-in-One Edition. Ponyo is a sweet-faced goldfish from a magical realm under the sea. One day, Ponyo's curiosity takes her far from home. After accidentally hitching a ride on a jellyfish, Ponyo washes up on the shore and is found by Sosuke, a kindly human boy. Sosuke takes her home and does his best to make sure she's happy and well fed in the human world. But Ponyo's father, a powerful underwater sorcerer, has sent out mysterious tidal forces to locate his daughter. Ponyo and Sosuke may be torn apart just when they've become friends. Splatoon Volume 1. The turf wars have started in Inkopolis, and the team that inks the most ground will be crowned the winner. Goggles and Team Blue are ranked lower than their competitors, but with some teamwork and a touch of creativity, they might just leave their mark on this tournament. From Titan Comics, Toxic Super Beasts Volume 2. The battle against the terrifying monsters, known as Super Beasts, rages on. Set in a world where the supernatural threatens to annihilate humanity, the Specialized Division, formed to combat these deadly creatures, faces relentless onslaughts as their foes become more dangerous and devastating. The team edges closer to uncovering the dark secrets behind those monstrous appearances, and the sinister mastermind manipulating events from the shadows. From Dark Horse Comics, Cat and Crazy Volume 1. High schooler Kensuke Fuji adores cats, but others in his family are allergic, so he's never really been able to spend time with any. When he meets a mysteriously skilled cat guru, who seems to be able to understand everything about cats, Kensuke finds a kindred spirit who is also absolutely kitty bonkers, so he decides to study under this ultimate cat whisperer. This has been described as a silly but sincere look at humans who adore cats, and who seek to learn more about these mysterious creatures. This is from the same mangaka as Cat Plus Gamer. From Inklaw, Father, I Don't Want This Marriage Volume 4. With the ink drying on their contract for their fake relationship, Lady Juvelian and Max take their first awkward steps into high society as a couple. While tea parties and balls might be enough for Juvelian to start feeling comfortable with this new arrangement, they do little to assuage her father's disapproval. Under the best of circumstances, he would never allow his student to date his daughter, but as soon as he discovers that Max has real feelings for Juvelian, he makes plans to tear them apart. Those plans may have to wait, however, for the deranged emperor has schemes of his own, and in order to protect Juvelian, her father and Max might find themselves on the same side. What no one expects, of course, is for Juvelian to take matters entirely into her own hands. From Seven Seas Entertainment, Healer for the Shadow Hero Volume 3. Nana and Louvet finally confess their feelings for one another, but just as the two start to settle into their steamy daily lives together, their pasts start to catch up to them. The leader of Louvet's former organisation has infiltrated the capital, prompting him to take action. Meanwhile, Isabella Weyer, Nana's former mistress, confronts her with a new bone to pick. It's not happily ever after for the couple yet. Tough Love at the Office, the complete Yuri collection. This is the entire 3-volume series of the manga originally titled Black and White, now available in a single omnibus collection. Shirakawa and Kuroda are more than just rivals on the corporate ladder, they're fire and gasoline. When these female power players are assigned to work with each other, they trade barbs and intense glares at every turn, until their tempers flare and tension ignites. Their animosity transforms into something far steamier, an undeniable physical connection they can't resist. Jealousy, ambition, and passions collide in this Yuri manga, where every power play threatens to unravel their careers and each other. Two guys at the vet clinic. Takaba, a veterinary student, finds a stray cat that needs help and rushes it to an animal hospital. He falls in love at first sight with Baba, the director. Trying to get closer to him, Takaba gets a job there, and Baba's flirtatious behaviour inflames his feelings till he can no longer repress them. A slow burn age gap BL story about a straightforward younger veterinarian and his complicated boss. Another BL one-shot called Lion Hearts, a sweet BL story about young love and how it can withstand the test of time. As children, Shishimaru and Leo were inseparable. Shi-chan was so infatuated with Leo that he proposed to him, but as the years went by they grew up and parted ways. Until 10 years later when the two reunite. Have their feelings remained, or have they been apart for too long? This is from the creator of Our Dining Table. You will become my wife. Alice, heiress of the prestigious Cunningham Hotel Tokyo, knows just how lucky she is. Her fiancé, Reiji, the Cunninghams' dedicated secretary, is handsome, cool, and responsible. And Alice is completely head over heels for him, yet no matter how fervently she expresses her love, his responses are always ice cold. Sure, he'll tease her with passionate kisses and more, but what she truly desires is his heart. Does Reiji love her, or is it purely physical between them? Ennead Volume 6. Horus and Seth's third battle rages on amidst a sandstorm. Seth is in his element until Horus holds Anubis at sword's point and pleads with the god of war to give up on winning. Will Seth forget the competition in exchange for his son's life? This series comes in two options, a hardback edition which is rated mature, and a paperback edition which is rated older teen. Todai Revengers Volumes 5 to 6. This is the final edition of the official parody of Tokyo Revengers, which reimagines the main character as a hopeless university student in love. Virgin Marriage, A Maiden Voyage into Passion's Embrace Volume 2. Happily married for a year, Kurumi and Keiichiro have finally started exploring the physical side of their marriage. Every kiss and every touch brings them closer to finally sealing the deal. In turn, Kurumi becomes more comfortable with their intimacy. But what's a wife to do when her husband is so overwhelmed by his wife's charm? Hate Me But Let Me Stay Volume 4. Ever since becoming mates, Naoto and Hazuki have rarely spent any time apart. So when Hazuki is asked by his mother to accompany her on a 2-week-long business trip that happens to coincide with Naoto's heat cycle, both are understandably anxious. Not wanting to hold his mate back, Naoto convinces Hazuki to go. But Naoto has more to deal with than just loneliness. A popular alpha student at the school where he works as a janitor has taken an inexplicable shine to him, even going so far as to ask him on a date. Can Naoto keep things under control until Hazuki finally returns? Gap Papa, Daddy at Work and at Home Volume 5. Love is in the air once again at Papa's workplace, except this time it's his boss's turn for romance. With even more stories showing the early stages of Mama and Papa's relationship as college students, as well as their lovey-dovey life at home with their daughter. Volume 5 promises to be as sweet and adorable as can be. Alpha Wolf Girl x Omega Wolf Boy Volume 4. It's not over yet for Ichiro and Akko. Will they ever get their happy ever after when Akko's family are scheming in the background? Find out in this final volume of the series. Ichi the Killer Omnibus 1. By the author of Homunculus and Hikari Man, this is the ultra-violent tale of a broken killer and his Yakuza nemesis that inspired the infamous film. Ichi may seem like a spineless weakling, but when the tears start flowing, a terrifying transformation takes place. Driven to his mental breaking point, Ichi becomes an unstoppable force of carnage, unleashing a torrent of violence on his next target. When his destructive path collides with Kakihara, a sadomasochist Yakuza boss with a penchant for pain, it ignites a bloody spiral of chaos, depravity, and unimaginable brutality. Shindo-kun's tight squeeze, helpless against his alluring touch. Volume 1. This is a steamy office romance about a woman forced to mentor a subordinate who proves to be much more than a handful. For 3 years, Rinko has dedicated herself to her dream job at Yatsuboshi Confectionery. While it hasn't all been cupcakes and mochi, she's proud of her hard-earned skills, until the day her boss assigns her to mentor the new hire, Shindo. His sharp tongue and bad attitude grate on her nerves, and worse yet, he insists he doesn't need her guidance at all. The most infuriating part? He's right. Shindo isn't just competent, he's faster, more efficient, and outshines her at work. But what begins as a clash of personalities soon simmers into something more. After a company dinner, Shindo makes a bold move and asks to go home with her. No Longer Allowed in Another World, Volume 9. Is love stronger than death? One day a man arrived in another world with the woman he loved. He had joined hands with her, seeking to bring an end to his life of shame and despair. With his long-awaited dream of death on the verge of fruition, what path will this failure of a man choose? The time for revolution and the ultimate sacrifice has come to Zauberberg. Gravitation Collector's Edition Volume 6. Shuichi is under pressure. He must release 10 new singles in 3 weeks. Not only that, but bad luck is up against Nittle Grasper again. Can Shuichi beat the clock and rise to the top? And just how does Yuki feel about Shuichi's plight? Find out in the riveting finale. Betrayed by the hero, I formed a MILF party with his mum, Volume 2. Exiled unjustly from the hero's party, Celeste returns to his home village. He's accompanied by his new wife, an older woman named Shizuko, who just so happens to be the mother of Zect the hero. In Celeste's hometown, they bump into Haruka, mother of Lida, the swordsmaster from Celeste's old party. Haruka is exactly Celeste's type, in brackets MILF, but seems to have feelings for someone else. Shizuko, however, urges Celeste not to give up on hope and comes up with a plan to get Lida to join the party. Mysterious Disappearances Volume 6. Former novelist and current hot-to-trot slacker Ogawa Sumireko gets dressed up in a yukata and takes her otherworldly allies, Adashino Ren and Otto, to see a fireworks display. But mysteries are always brewing on summer nights, and who knows who or what the trio will encounter in the dark between flashes of light. Before You Discard Me, I Shall Have My Way With You Volume 4. Determined to find out what is going on with Lucilia, Agnes follows him only to fall into the enemy's trap. How will it all end for the two in this final volume? His Majesty the Demon King's Housekeeper Volume 10. Whenever Sakura is near the Demon King, her heart races. She's trying to keep her distance, but that's easier said than done when she's a key part of the 5th anniversary celebration for the Demon King's reign. As her anxiety grows, Milia and Noah think they know the cause of her distress. Sakura knows that one day she will return home, but before they can confront her feelings, the Sacred Sea sends a desperate request for Saint Sakura's aid. From Tokyo Pop, A Tale's Tale Volume 4. Nachi and Utsumi find themselves navigating the ups and downs of adulthood, experiencing family drama, workplace difficulties, and all the joys and sorrows of everyday life. The desert butterfly yearns to be caught. As lord of a thriving desert country, Seth is responsible for the prosperity and protection of his people, even if that means occasionally putting himself at risk. Fortunately, Seth's bodyguard, Kyle, is ready to yank his master out of harm's way, whether Seth likes it or not. In the decades since Seth brought him out of servitude, Kyle has become a dogged, dedicated, obsessive, overbearing bodyguard, willing to sacrifice everything for the safety of his master. Seth, however, resents feeling caged by Kyle's constant controlling attentions. When Kyle finally crosses the line, will it be enough to capture his master's heart? From Square Enix, The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest Volume 25. Matty's plan to craft a new weapon using a transcendent crystal has come to a standstill due to a lack of materials capable of withstanding the crystal's power. The only solution is to acquire a rare metal that may possess qualities compatible with the crystal. Unfortunately, this rare metal can only be found in a dangerous zone at sea where flight magic doesn't work, so that's where they'll be going. The Villainess's Guide to Not Falling in Love Volume 4. Can one would-be villainess fend off multiple handsome suitors' advances to simply live a peaceful life? Or will the game force a happy ending no matter what? Like conversation at the Wistaria's gorgeous banquet takes a turn when SciFier tells the tale of a certain fateful deal, exposing a connection Luciana never knew existed. Her role in the story may be way more than she ever bargained for. Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, Volume 14. At work, Adachi is selected as the leader to plan a large-scale event themed around Scandinavia. However, a client named Tachibana quickly takes a shine to Adachi and even makes a pass at him. How will Kurosawa stake his claim on his man and get the interloper to back off for good? After all, with such a major event in the works, neither of them can afford to offend a client. So those are the releases for the final 2 weeks of July. There are a lot of releases there, so you can see why I had to split all the July releases into 3 videos. Do check some of the release dates because I've found that some of the publishing companies actually have slightly different dates for Europe, for the UK, so it's always worth checking the actual release dates. But these are the release dates that are on the publishers' websites. As always, feel free to use the code JSManga at SciFier.com. It's a fantastic website that always has reduced prices and they do ship internationally as well. I hope you have a fantastic manga buying month, everyone. Bye!